The Uncharted series has always had a lot of treasure to find, and Uncharted 3 is no different, bringing with it 101 different items to collect. Join us as we walk you through how to collect every single item across all 22 chapters. Let's get started. There are 2 treasures to find in Chapter 1, Another Round. It's best to grab treasure number 1 after the bathroom brawl. Look for the first one on the jukebox. Look for the second treasure on the far right shelf behind the counter. You'll be looking for 7 treasures in Chapter 2, Greatness from Small Beginnings. Check the third cannon in the first room for treasure number 1. Now continue into the small back room and look for the second treasure next to the plant by the mirror. After being thrown outside, head up the street and look for treasure number 3 by the first door on the right. After stealing the fruit, turn right at the next intersection, then turn right again just past the blue stand. Then look for the 4th treasure among some bottles. Before following Sully through the meat shop, turn left up the street and climb the stairs on the left for the 5th treasure. Shortly after spying on Sully through the window, you'll work your way to a balcony. Look for the 6th treasure next to a plant on the far end. Before long, you'll leap to a hotel sign from the rooftop. Climb to the top for the 7th and final treasure. You'll be looking for 3 treasures in Chapter 3, second story work. After leaping to the deck's roof, head to the far side and drop down to the deck itself. Then look for the first treasure by the nearby bench. After heading inside the museum from the deck, look for the second treasure by the diving suit. In that same room, look for the 3rd treasure in the corner just right of the steering wheel. There are 6 treasures in addition to one very special one to find in Chapter 4, Run to Ground. You'll find number 1 early on, shortly after fitting through the narrow gap in the walls. After jumping the barricade ahead, look for it in the corner to the right. After climbing inside the warehouse, jump to the railing ahead, then work your way down to the one right of the windows. Follow the railing all the way right to find a platform containing the 2nd treasure. Once on the ground floor of the warehouse, climb the stack of boxes in one of the corners to find the 3rd treasure. After your very first enemy encounter, look behind the right generator to find treasure number 4. When you reach the large cylinder-shaped room, jump to the pipe ahead and climb it to the top. Once there, leap to a second pipe on the left and follow it up to a grate containing the 5th treasure. This one also awards the Relic Finder trophy. From there, work your way to a second grate down and to the left where you'll find treasure number 6. After giving Sully a lift to the ladder in the room with the 2 levers, climb up the opposite wall to find the 7th and final treasure about halfway up on the left side. There are 4 treasures to find in Chapter 5, London Underground. After stealth killing this guard in the library, climb up the horse painting on the left to find the 1st treasure on a ridge above. After taking down the guards that attack while you're hanging from the gold deer, head through the door they open and take the stairs on the right. When you reach the library's balcony, follow it around to the other side where you'll find the 2nd treasure underneath a display case. As you head back through the train station, you're now able to grab a treasure located above the left train car since you have a gun. See the shiny thing left of the clock? Shoot it to knock it loose, allowing you to grab the 3rd treasure. After following the train tracks to the boarding platform, check underneath the front of the 1st train car to find the 4th and final treasure. You'll be looking for 9 whole treasures in Chapter 6, The Chateau. From the start, trek through the jungle until you find a small stream. Follow it into a cave which contains the 1st treasure. Shortly after discovering the ravine, you'll find this statue playing the flute. Climb the wall just behind him and then hop over another to find the 2nd treasure. With the main door leading into the castle locked, you'll begin your climb to find an opening. Continue past that opening to find more bricks you can climb up to a hidden area which contains the 3rd treasure. After climbing these stairs, you'll watch a short cutscene about the tower. Once it ends, head left past the window you're supposed to jump out of and down the hall to find the 4th treasure at the dead end. When you reach the puzzle with the 4 knights, head into the adjacent room and shoot down the 5th treasure from above the left window. After falling into the cave, follow the right wall to find the 6th treasure behind the stalagmite. Following the first grenade lesson, drop down and look in the left corner to find the 7th treasure. Shortly after the courtyard battle where you regroup with Sully, he'll help you open the door. Inside, head right and look for a section you can climb which leads to a thin beam. Follow it to a platform containing the 8th treasure. After solving the floor tile puzzle, a secret passageway will be revealed. Follow it to the 3rd room and look up to see the 9th and final treasure. Shoot it down to grab it. There's only one treasure to find in Chapter 7. Back inside the castle, Drake will accidentally pull loose part of the ceiling, creating a ramp that Sully can reach. Use that ramp to reach the opening just above the one Sully jumped from, and then look for the treasure in the far right corner. There are 7 treasures to find in Chapter 8, the Citadel. After climbing the wall at the start of the chapter, you'll find a partially destroyed section of walkway on the right, just past the large arch. Jump the barricade, then drop to the side of the bridge and follow along it to the right to find the first treasure. After Sully helps you lower the drawbridge, look for a treasure high up on the jutting wall ahead. Shoot it down to grab it. Soon after, you'll shoot a lock off this gate. Head inside and look for the 3rd treasure on the statue to the right. After being lowered via the bucket, head to the back wall then into the left room to find the 4th treasure on the right. After Sully shoots the lock off the door blocking you, head outside, turn around, and look up at the wall you just came from to find the 5th treasure. Shoot it down to collect it. Inside the tower, you and your friends will work together to get past this gate. Once through, head around the room to find the 6th treasure on the 3rd window of that same floor. Near the end of the level, you'll find these 2 snipers holed up inside the building. Fortunately, Sully will take them out with a rocket, which will also create an entryway below. Head inside and turn right to find the 7th and final treasure in the corner.
Gotta meet up with those guys.
There are 3 treasures to find in Chapter 9, the Middle Way. Shortly after Charlie regains his sanity, you'll enter a room with a giant globe in the center. Follow the left wall to find the first treasure. After lighting the final torch during the first spider sequence, you'll encounter a dam you have to open. As you wait for the water to fill, you might notice the 2nd treasure glimmering on the wall. Now unfortunately, this treasure doesn't float. What that means is that once the water fills completely, you're going to have to swim over to it so you're underneath the treasure, then shoot it down. Now immediately lower your weapon in order to grab the treasure as it falls. After solving the globe puzzle, a spiraling staircase will descend above. Climb up the stairs, then search the 2nd shelf on the left to find the 3rd and final treasure. You'll be looking for 7 treasures in Chapter 10, Historical Research. Early in the level, Elena will open a gate for you. Before heading through, look in the corner directly left of the staircase you just descended for the first treasure. As you enter the market, turn right at the base of this staircase to find the 2nd treasure in the corner of the fountain. After the merchant opens the gate for you, head into the next area and look for the 3rd treasure among the plants on the left. Upon entering the house, head upstairs, turn around, and look for the 4th treasure by the window. Following the market brawl, continue into the next area and look for the 5th treasure in an alcove on the right. Shortly after, you'll descend another staircase. Turn right at the base and look for the 6th treasure by a small shop. Now climb the nearby boxes to reach a ledge which will lead you to the 7th and final treasure on the platform. There are 9 treasures to find in Chapter 11, as above, so below. When climbing down the well, don't drop off at the bottom. Instead, follow the rim left around to the other side where you'll find treasure number 1. If you accidentally drop down before grabbing it, you'll have a second chance later in the level, after the large gun battle in that same room. You'll be able to grab it once Sully gives you a lift to a nearby pillar. After solving the pillar puzzle, look for the second treasure on the left near the end of the passageway that opens. In the gear puzzle room, climb the ledge just right of the entrance and look for the third treasure tucked behind a pillar.
Okay, well let's hope we figure it out. I think we're trapped in here until we do.
When you reach the room with the floating body parts, look for the fourth treasure in the left corner of the staircase. After grabbing the lit staff in that same room, hold L1 for first person view and cast its light on the treasure high up on the wall to your right. If you shine the light directly onto it, the treasure will drop. Now put down the staff and go claim your prize.
Okay, that didn't work.
Once you've climbed out of the well, turn right as you re-enter the market and head down the stairs to find the 6th treasure at the dead end. Now climb back up the stairs and look for the 7th treasure next to a blue door on the right. From there, head across the street to find the 8th treasure opposite the staircase that Sully and Elena are waiting by.
This way.
Once you finally lose your target during the chase sequence, climb up the stairs on the right and look for the 9th and final treasure in the left corner. There are 7 treasures to find in Chapter 12, Abducted. After the big brawl, climb the ladder and jump the gap to another set of shipping containers and look for the first treasure in the corner. Shortly after Drake finds his holster, you'll emerge in a dank hallway. Turn right at the end to find the 2nd treasure. Following the huge firefight in the shipyard, look for this rundown boat among some shipping containers in one of the corners. Climb on top of it, then leap to the nearby walkway, which will lead you to the 3rd treasure. After climbing into the wreckage of the old ship, you may spot the 4th treasure glistening on a far beam. To get to it, go around the small structure and then carefully jump from beam to reach it. As you close in on the radio tower, you'll grab hold of this rope. Before swinging from it, climb it to find a secret room containing the 5th treasure. Now swing from the rope for reals to the platform where you can see Ramsey's ship. Now drop through the gap in the railing on the other side and climb down to find the 6th treasure. Once inside the radio tower, skip past the zip line to find the 7th and final treasure by the door in the back. There are 3 treasures to find in Chapter 13, Rough Seas. Look for the first treasure beneath the tower on the right. Look inside the yellow container on the opposite side for treasure number 2. Look for the 3rd and final treasure just right at the bridge you're supposed to lower. It's hidden behind this wall. There are 9 treasures to find in Chapter 14, Cruisin for Bruisin. Look just left at the very first staircase to find treasure number 1. As you turn the first corner, continue past the lifeboat that you're supposed to jump to and look for the 2nd treasure around the next turn. After the big battle by the shipping containers, climb aboard the yellow one ahead and follow it to the 3rd treasure. When you reach the pool, look for the 4th treasure by the far window on the left. After clearing out the auditorium, head through the door the enemies open and turn right to find the 5th treasure. Now head to the opposite end of that same hallway past to the enemy to find the 6th treasure next to some stacked deck chairs. Take down the enemy you just passed and head through a couple of rooms to find the 7th treasure behind the counter. Soon after, you'll walk down a very industrial looking staircase. Check underneath it for the 8th treasure. When you reach the room where Sully appears to be, head left to grab the 9th and final treasure behind some boxes. There's only one treasure to plunder in Chapter 15, Sink or Swim. After crawling into the flipped cabin, work your way to the adjacent room and search its bathroom for the treasure. There are 3 treasures to collect in Chapter 16, one shot at this. Look for the first treasure on top of the central stack of boxes. When you drop into the warehouse via the skylight, look for the second treasure on top of the stacked boxes in the corner. After pushing the car through the fence, climb into the warehouse on the left. Inside, check in the back corner for the third and final treasure. There's only one treasure to find in Chapter 18, the Rub al Khali. When you find the well, break open the vase laying alongside it to find the treasure. There are 8 treasures to discover in Chapter 19, the Settlement. Look for the first treasure just left of the main entrance. After falling through the roof, look for the second treasure along the right wall. After Drake cools down and returns to the surface, look for the third treasure behind the center wall ahead. After the enemy shoots Drake's footing loose, look for the fourth treasure on the ground, just below where the enemy was standing. After collapsing the pillar and climbing the next set of stairs, look for the fifth treasure behind this pillar. Following the next big firefight, you'll find the sixth treasure in a small alcove just left of the area's exit. Once past the narrow passage, jump this wall and head right to plunder the seventh treasure from the corner. After the battle with the jeep, look for the eighth and final treasure in a small area just right of the large wooden door. Chapter 21, The Atlantis of the Sands, is hiding 8 treasures. Upon entering the large building, look in the left corner for the first treasure. When you reach the giant door, climb the ladder on the right about halfway up and leap to the nearby platform, where you'll find the second treasure. Now climb the ladder all the way up and leap to the nearby chandelier. Follow it around to the backside to find the third treasure. Upon entering the city, take the left staircase down to find the fourth treasure. Now take the right staircase and leap through the gap in the railing into the small building on the left. Inside you'll find the fifth treasure. Following Sully's supposed death, look for the sixth treasure on the second story of this building. After awakening from shooting Sully, look for the seventh treasure just behind you. After awakening in the pool, head into the next room and look for the eighth and final treasure along the left wall. There are only 2 treasures to find in the final chapter, the Dreamers of the Day. At the very start of the chapter, look underneath the spiraling staircase for the first treasure. In the large machinery-filled room, follow the cliff edge to the far door where you'll find the second treasure.